Homecoming week this week, and I know you're coming off a tough one at Campbell County. Anything that you kind of took away after watching film of the Camels game that you're trying to impart into practice this week?
Yeah, for sure. I think biggest thing would be our missed tackles in that game, and that's obviously hats off to the Lang kid up there at Campbell County, super mobile athlete in space and hard to bring down. But the big takeaway for us is that we can not only go on the road, but we can play up against a team like the Camels, who are undefeated, let alone at their own homecoming, and play toe-to-toe through 4 quarters and have a chance to win it.
It is homecoming week, as I mentioned at the top. Any sort of distractions with that, or do you feel like your team's pretty focused on this one?
Yeah, I think the big part also coming away from last Friday is our kids. They weren't just happy about being competitive in the game. They walked away feeling like we could have won it. And so I think the big challenge this week for these guys, and we mentioned it to them on Monday, at some point in time, we've got to get our program now, instead of being competitive in those games, we got to go snag a couple of those. And so, we have a team in Natrona coming in here this Friday night, also 2-3, and clearly I'm sure they're not pleased with their own record. But they're a well-coached team. They're a quality program, and anybody in the state knows that they're always one of those upper echelon teams. So, our guys, they really kind of came in this Monday with a different level of focus and demeanor to themselves. They weren't just ready to get out to go do all the other things that we need to go do on a homecoming weekend. Listen, I want to support them in that too, because without our fans, without support and buy-in from those guys as well, I don't think that we get this program where we need it. So I want those guys to feel like they're a part of the school, and have the school feel like they want to embrace us as well. So clearly there's some distractions, but definitely a great level of focus so far this week.
You mentioned the Mustangs. What's a little scouting report on NC for this season?
I always like to say they just play smash mouth football. They're kind of a little bit more old school in that way. They like to be physical on both sides of the ball, so they like to run it. They've got some athletes in that Kanai Olsen kid. He can certainly throw it up as well. But the Wilcox kid can run it hard. And then defensively, their front seven is always super tough. Linebackers specifically like to play physical, get downhill, and not let any crossers happen.
Speaking of that physicality, they've always seemed to do something where, I don't want to say we're afraid of the physicality, but it seems like maybe your program's kind of turned the corner in that aspect, and that your guys aren't afraid of physical contact.
No, I think we've taken a big leap this year, and I think really that stems from what these guys have put in the offseason in the weight room. I think specifically now when you watch us on the field, I think you look out there and I don't see a team that looks inferior to anybody in terms of body size, physicality, or athletes. And so, NC always tends to have good physical players, but I've said it week in and week out. I think we got caught week 1 against a mobile quarterback and guys coming off injuries from a year before. But each week we've tended to get better as far as physicality is concerned, and the big thing is we're avoiding the injury bug, and that's a big piece of what we got going on, and that's a kudos to our guys and what they're doing during the off season.